Hello, everyone. I am coming in to record the forecast reading for all of my Scorpios for 2025. This has been a process. I don't know, Scorpio. 2025 definitely got some sensitivities and some, I guess, I don't want to say heaviness. I don't, that's not kind of the language I want to use for it, but definitely some like I guess intensities, intensities, intensities. Definitely got some intensities in it. Like I definitely feel the intensity of the energy, but I also feel the need for rest and pause and for you through 2025. I just feel like things have to be done in increments. Like I can do this now and then I'm going to have to take a break and then do this and then do that. So don't feel like you should be rushing through 2025 no matter what they tell you, no matter what's happening. Like really listen to and trust your body for 2025. It is an absolute must because it has this sense of it's like you're just coming down off of a almost like a high or it's of energy or a rush of energy, and it's been some real kind of um a lot of change and a lot happening through 2024, and 2025 still has change, of course, but there is a sense of having to kind of breathe through this year, like really breathe through 2025. That's one of the things that is really coming up for me. And I couldn't even use my ring lights. So I'm sorry if the video appears to be a little darker. It is darker because I can't turn on my lights. Excuse me. It's my newest thing. As soon as I start doing this work, start channeling through the messages, I get hiccups. But it keeps happening. I know I mention it in every video because it just throws me for a loop because I don't have them. And then I start, and then I get like this like hiccup happening. I'm like, there's a hiccup. There's a hiccup in my little voice box in my system somehow. But the sensitivities to the light is too much, and I just can't seem to keep the lights on. I find myself getting so tired and exhausted. And so it's the same thing. So let me bring this into perspective. The light that is coming in, even though may feel like there's a lot of darkness, is that there's a lot of light coming towards us. And there's a lot of light that's coming in. If you have not heard of the resonant sound, go check it out. The earth, it's the magnetic energy of the earth, the energy within the earth. And so um, we have a lot of kind of solar energy, and there's a lot of brightness, and I'm like, it is the divine. I know it's the divine, but it's also the intensity of everything is intensifying. Everything is like getting that much more powerful, that much more stronger. So of course you are very intuitive. You have a very intuitive, instinctual self that is being so activated this year. So your ability to be able to like feel things, you see things differently, and you like your eyes may hurt, your ears may hurt, you may be noticed your smell, you may be like, oh my god, what is that smell, what's that smell? It's because you're getting heightened senses. Your senses are heightening, and so this is like an evolution that's happening. So it's an ascension that's taking place. There is so much that's activating this change within your energy. And so even the sound of people around you, so don't be pissed off at the people around you and start saying, they're all annoying me. Why are they annoying me? It's because you're hearing the frequency differently. You're connecting differently. It's coming in differently. So yeah, I'm kind of working a little more in the dark. I don't have near as much bright lights on me when I'm trying to work. I don't want imitation light. I want to be in true light. And so this is going to be the year of spend as much time in the sunlight as you possibly can. That is natural. That is what Scorpio requires, and that is true Scorpion energy. Is that you're designed for. It's funny that Scorpion energy is actually water energy. It really is, because you appear to be, you have the appearance. Scorpio often has the appearance to appear more earth and fire to me. And 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 that's why it's like the fixed water. And so the fixed water sign of the of like frozen ice, frozen in time. So it also is about your kind of, you may find yourself, if you are stubborn, if you have that tendency to be a little bit strong willed and strong headed, it is going to be very challenged this year. And it's going to be about releasing that sense of control or trying to be in control. It's going to be a wild ride. You are in for a wild ride. Not all, but a lot of my Scorpion. Remember, your natal chart plays a big role in this. Whatever your natal chart speaks of, and your connection to how many the elements you have and which element is lacking or that you don't have as much of, that also influences as well. So if you don't have a lot of water energy, you may really not be someone who responds so emotional. You may be someone who jumps into action and you don't get lost in your emotions. But it's like just this wild ride, and you want to get ahead. So you got to be careful of and there's nothing wrong with being healthy competitive, but you've got to be very aware of tromping on people to get to the top this year, like trying to be the one who's to be right, to be careful, because you could push people away. Put it that way. The need to be right, the need to get what you want, the need to get somewhere that you think you need to rush to get to, all of that. And so being motivated to grow and succeed, not a bad thing at all. But be aware of the arrogance, of the extent, not extensive, what was that word? Of the expansion of the ego. Because as the light is starting to come online, so the darkness is fighting back, right? And so that's our inner self. This is in the micro. Is that your inner self is the inner darkness, our little shadow is fighting back. The ego is trying to keep evolving and growing, but the shadow aspect is, trying to bring us back. And so there is like this inner battle, this inner conflict between what is right, what is wrong, what is light, what is dark, and what is familiar, right? It's so easy to get caught up in the familiarity and want to stay in the familiar, stay in the comfort zone. Well, this makes me comfortable, or I fought hard for this, so I want this. And so sometimes it was the shadow who fought hard, the shadow aspects of yourself that fought hard for something, but who you are in a more organic way doesn't really have that same desire. And so sometimes it's okay to just kind of let things go. And it's not dropping the ball, is that you're done. It's overextending yourself. You're done pulling at all ends. You're done doing you're done doing the big long shifts of something. You're just done overextending or trying to keep holding on to something that is now gone. And so this could be about dealing even with finances. It could be finally having to get some financial help, finally dealing with like the financial end of things. And so the pride sometimes holds us hostage in that. But it's like getting financial help is the way to freedom, not to more self-shame or being hard on ourselves. You have to look at the versions of your past, right? The versions of who you were, the way you did things, the way we hold on. But it's also a year of great success as well. And so we do see that growth. And if we didn't see the possibility for arrogance and pride to come in, we wouldn't, we wouldn't be seeing growth either. So I'm seeing a lot of growth. I'm seeing things really starting to kind of take off. So if there's a dream that you've had, if there's a business plan that you've been working on, it is like this year feels like you are ready for the launch. You're ready to let go. You're ready to jump into action. You're ready to move forward with all of this plans, and that the right moments and the right opportunities are going to be there. Your action plan this year is about really being aware of the shadow aspect of yourself. So it is going to be a year of a lot of shadow work, though. If you've not done any shadow work at all, this is going to be the year that it is probably going to begin for you. And why? Is because your own light, The light is calling you up and out. And so there is a lot of shadow work in here. And I get this kind of dancing energy. So I do feel like for some of you, you may find yourself really stepping into doing some like, it could be dance training, it could be chakra dance, it could be just learning the powers of moving your bodies. It could be aerobics. It could be taking on like a bar class or some sort of like hit fitness class, like, but something that requires you to really move your body. And if this is unfamiliar to you, I feel like for some of you, you're going to be stepping out of your comfort zone. It's like what was once comfortable is now no longer comfortable. We are moving on and we're moving up like the Jeffersons here. So there, there is some of that energy. Now, I want to say this, and this is not for all. Where there has been, if you have not resolved old like karmatic debts, you may find yourself being repaying karmatic debts if you haven't worked on that part of yourself, if you haven't done that. So if you've taken something from somebody else, this may be the year that you have to go into that sense of really, forgiving yourself, but also releasing the energy tied to the story. And that you may find yourself having to experience, some sense of the hurt from that experience, coming back to you in the way of, sometimes taking, sometimes getting what we want and we've taken it from somewhere else or someone else. It's, it comes at a little bit of a cost. And I don't mean this in like a way of, oh, you're going to pay the price for that. I don't mean that way, but I mean, we live with it. We live with it inside of ourselves. So let's just say, for example, if you were in a relationship, you fell in love with with the wrong person, or you fell in love with the right person in the wrong time in life. And so you may find yourself and you ended up in the relationship and there's hurt feelings and hurt hearts left behind. This will be the year, this will be the time, and there's a reason why. It's the beginning of releasing any of the old stories, where you will be moving into like a sense of self-forgiveness, or a sense of really recognizing and having, a great compassion for that hurt, but also not any longer carrying the daggers, carrying the old energy and releasing that old energy. Now, it doesn't have to be just in relationship. It could be that you were a boss, an employee, maybe years ago, and you had to let a bunch of people go, or you had to break the news to people that say a business was closing, or there was a lot of hurt. And so there's a lot of hurt being left behind. And you've always said to yourself, oh, I wish I didn't have to do that. Well, you're still holding on to it and you're still carrying the weight of it, even though you often don't think you are. But when you bring it up, it's in your memories and it's been stored. And so that's the kind of that we're speaking about. And so you're going to really be moving into releasing by finishing up those karmatic debts, by forgiving self, picking up the piece. So soul revival work, shadow work, it is so much of your way this year for resolving those old energies, because the weight of it and the carrying it is taking up space. And you need space for the new experiences that are coming in. And so there is a bunch of new experiences, new opportunities. And for whatever reason, the time of year of when your birthday would fall into, when it's your season, that period of time, is that we are going to be in a time of great change. And things are kind of coming, like we're kind of coming to the back end of the year. And so we're going to be moving into finally seeing the fruits of the labor, right? We're seeing the fruits of the labor. We're seeing the big change, but it's the way they give it to me is 2025 will be in that period of time of when your season comes. It will be the time of great change. And I don't know what that all means, but that's what they tell me. It's going to be a time of great change, and you're going to be experiencing or seeing those great changes and maybe reaping the rewards for doing the hard work, for getting to that place, but also to where you start to see kind of the snake's shedding of the skin, right? It's where you start to see the shedding away and we see new skin. So we see new life. So it's a chance for rebirth, a chance for new opportunities. And one thing that's going to be very difficult for you is that you're going to have to be flexible. Kind of makes me chuckle. So, Scorpio, you're going to have to be flexible this year and not be so offended by things. It's like really just knowing that everyone's kind of in a rush, and it's not that they're intentionally in a rush, is the energy is moving very quickly. Times are happening very quickly. And it's so easy to be easily offended when, people, it feels like, because we have these emotions that we cultivate, feels like people are ignoring, feels like people don't have time for you, feels like people are not available, feels like people are, so that feels like you got to pay attention. This is where some of the evolution is coming from, the feelers that are um, attaching to creating a story, to the evolution, to the rising up of feel your way through this and ask yourself, like allow intuition come in and say, you know what, this has nothing to do with me personally. People are not ignoring me. People are not out to get me. People are not, it's me. This is just me creating this story. Why? And so it's going to be a year of a lot of emotional intelligence and emotional growth so that you can grow emotionally. So emotionally grow up this year. There's an emotional growth that is happening. Also, like I said, a massive spiritual evolution that's happening through you, through the Scorpio energy. And no, you're not alone. It's like, but it's happening on a world scale, but because it's like bringing up and bringing out parts of your true identity. It's like scraping off the paint on an old building and getting to see the true color. It's like sanding the floor or lifting up old carpet that was laid over the top of beautiful hardwood floor and finding the hardwood floor, but discovering this surprise that's there. And it's like, oh my God, I didn't know that was there. And now I want to polish this. Now I want to know more about this. And now I want to discover more about this. Now I want to step more into this. And so you may find yourself being very curious this year, being very, interested. Now I have a lot of shoulder energy coming in here. So I just feel like it's like either carrying a lot of weight for so long, but you could have like shoulder issues or some shoulder pain. So, or you could be bumping shoulders with people. It could be like squished in, squeezed in, find yourself being in places of where it might feel uncomfortable because it feels like there might be too many people and you're like, just don't know where to turn or where to go. And you're like, oh, what do I do with this? So you could find yourself going to concerts, being at events, being places where there's a lot of people and a lot of energy and feeling that. But I'm also getting the sense you might also get, just shrug of the shoulders. Like it's like people might not see you. You might be evolving and changing so much that the you are, people just don't see you. They don't see you anymore because they're not seeing the you that once was. So it is so much that's just taking place. But now I don't know if someone is going to be, needing shoulder surgery or waiting for shoulder surgery or having some shoulder issues that need to be resolved and dealt with. And I just keep getting this rubbing of the shoulder. And it could also be a big hug, but no, I am also getting this. Like if you've been having shoulder issues, neck issues, this area of the Scorpio energy is what I'm getting big time. So if you work in a job and you've been having a lot of shoulder issues and your arms probably got to be like this a lot or a lot of movement like this, is that you may find yourself having to take some time off, maybe resolve this issue. Maybe you're going to have a career change. For a lot of my Scorpios, you're going to find yourself having a career change, making a shift in careers, changing directions, moving in a new direction, doing something differently and living life different than you've lived it before. And so there is going to be some real turnaround happening and some big changes in the way that you show up and the way that you live. With that, I also see some big moves. So for my Scorpios, for some of you, it may be the year that you've been probably putting on the fence, like a big move or contemplating a big move. This will be the year that you will either fully start to put it into motion and 2026 will bring it, or that you just really truly take the leap, and you're going to be taking the leap of faith into making that change in your life and jumping into action towards making a big leap, making a leap. Now, you're very known for your emotional intensity. Scorpios are so emotionally intense, and it's also one of your superpowers. Like it has the positives and it has its negatives, as they would call it, right? But we need the positive and the negative to bring about change. And so the card that really ties into Scorpio energy is the Death card, and it's the major arcana. And so some death cards, like if I were to pull out, I don't think, oh, I do have it really close. So in another deck that I have here, this death card, I mean, both of them are the death card. They're just in two different decks. This is the more of the original. And so as you can see with the death card is that when we get the death card in tarot, we've been taught that this is about fear, right? Fear the death. And it's like when we receive the death card, the ending has already happened. The death has already happened. As you can see, all the collateral damage is there, right? It's like, but what has arrived? The Knight with the peace. And we also have the Hierophant that has also arrived. So the spiritual guidance has also, and the sun is coming back up, right? And here comes the sun again. And so this tells us that we're moving into a new beginning, right? And so the death has already happened. There is a unicorn. There is like this magical energy. There is a change. And so the thing that really makes this so powerful is, you know, sometimes you get the bad rap of being the Scorpio energy, like Capricorn and Aries. We all get that because there is a strong sense of right and wrong, right? There is a conviction to speak truth, to stand up, and to sometimes be that voice. And sometimes we have to really truly allow endings to happen. So and so losing that sense, letting go of the sense of trying to keep things going that are already dead, right? And so it's like it's already happened. So there's already been a massive change. There's already been the experience of something of a death, an ending. There's already been a change that has taken place. And this is the reminder that in comes all of the support and love that we need to help us move forward. Peace is here. And so to make peace, and it is going to be a year of making peace. And so because we have experienced this, and now it's kind of on the upward swing and moving up and moving forward. And so it keeps drawing my attention between the two towers, between the towers over the hill is, you know, the sun is rising again and the sun is coming back again. So if you've been going through a major change, a major shift in your life, that I feel like, especially as we move through the year, as we move through the summer months, as we move into the fall, by the time we come into your Scorpio season, is that life is going to be already revealing a new life to you. That you're going to, you know, the things that you said, oh, I would never say never, because you never know when a new life is going to find you, a new sense of hope, joy, love, whatever that may be. But there is the White Knight coming in. And so sometimes when we see the Death card, is the Scorpio energy actually connected to the death itself, or to the White Knight coming in, to the White Knight, to the knight coming in on the white horse, and or to that beautiful spiritual advisor, or to the Sun card, or to the Tower cards, or right, or to seeing everything that is taking place. So is Scorpio actually the death, or is Scorpio the person who appears? Sometimes you need to let other people to be this for you, but very often Scorpio energy, you're very much this person, this version for everyone else. And so why would I say that you'd be the Tower card? because you're the one who's going to not to let friends kind of suffer and struggle or keep a secret from friends that you know they need to know. You will need to speak that truth. You will need to tell them. And you may find yourself having people speaking truth to you this year. You might find out some secrets about situations or people in your life of where you are now having to deal with it and you just can't let it go. You can't cover it up and you don't want to. This also is card 13. And so card 13, it's like, we get the superstition of 13. And I say 13 is one of the luckiest numbers because sometimes it is when we go through these big changes is that the opportunity of new beginnings in our lives leads us into an even better new beginning or a better life. And I don't mean like the grief of losing our loved ones. I mean when a door closes and a job ends, or that we keep holding on to because we look at financial security, or when we have to deal with old financial debts in the way that we didn't want to, but you have to clear it up, right? And you find ways to either resolve it through consumer proposals, through bankruptcies, through consolidation loans, whatever it is. And you're like, oh, I don't want to have to do that. But it is the way to the new beginning. And sometimes we have to walk that way. And so this card is not just appearing today just for shits and giggles. It's appearing because it needs to. And it's funny because with it came the sun and the tower. So the sun card is that card of liberation. It is that new beginning. It's that childlike mind and setting your inner child free this year, setting free that sense of self. It is the sense of the seeds that you're going to want to plant are all inside of, say, the sunflower seeds. And so they are holding the seeds. And sometimes we got to take out the seeds. So when the flower blooms, it only blooms for a short period of time. So if we spend our whole lifetime only existing in waiting for the blooms, and when the blooms come and go, we're going to live in a lot of disappointment. You're here this year to really open up to living in the whole experience and all of the experience of living life and not waiting for the ending of a journey or waiting for the beginning of the journey to happen. It's going to be about you really stepping into life, embodying in life, embracing life, and all that life has to get. The sun is shining and the sun is going to be shining. It's like you're given daylight so that you can see, and that it's kind of pushing out some of the darkness and some of the hard times and the challenges. And even though you may not be seeing it yet, we're moving through that because the tower card is like the death card. It means it's already happened. It means often that it's already happened. Doesn't mean always. It just means the top is blowing off. It's blowing the top off of the shit. And everything is being exposed. Everything is being opened up. And what falls out and what leaves is that which we no longer have space for. And so when we look at the tower card, we get so caught up in seeing it as a dooms card, right? A doomsday card. Like, this is not a good card. The sun card, we're like, yeah, this is a great card. But in the reverse, this could be like a little bit of fear and not allowing that to happen, or some illusions. And this could be afraid of what we have to see, afraid of what we have to face. So we're always keeping the tower card at bay instead of allowing the tower card, the tower moment in our lives to happen. And so it's like the lightning bolt. When that powerful light we're talking about comes in and it just blows the top off of something, it exposes what has been hidden in the dark and it sets it free. If you were to think of Rapunzel, if Rapunzel was stuck in the top and she was trapped in the top and she was never to be discovered or found, right? And so, don't know where that just come from. Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair. And so why was she up there? It's because the darkness put her there. Something hid her there. And so that is the best parts of us that gets hidden in the closet, because we hide that parts of ourselves to protect it. And then we forget that it's there for protection. And we forget to bring it back out when we are safe, because we actually never know that we're safe. So when you start to recognize that you're safe to be you, you're safe to show up, then we start to let it out. Now, what is this built on? And so the tower is built on a strong foundation, right? And so the rest of the building didn't fall. So when we build a strong foundation and we build that sense of values and beliefs, and it's like only the top falls off and this we can rebuild. right? It lights a fire. So there is a fire being lit that is bringing about a passion and a desire to move forward. Now, the other card that I pulled is that of the Three of Swords. Now, I got the Three of Swords, which means there is a interference here somewhere, that we have a third party that kind of is like intruding the heart, interfering. And this doesn't always, sometimes if I'm doing a love relationship reading, this could be an affair, it could be somebody else involved, but we're not doing a love relationship. We're doing a forecast reading for the year. Now, you could be there, but that's not what we're doing. This is about, the mind's ability to keep piercing our own heart, to have the pain. And so, what are those heart piercing stories that we don't let go of, that we hold on to? And so, this brings me back to the forgiveness and being able to forgive yourself for holding on, for believing a story for too long, for keeping things going that needed to be a done deal, to move forward. And so the move forward, and this year is going to be about being able to create a more inner peace within life and to find that sense of peace. Now, these are all archetypal energies as well. So we look at these as archetypal energies, and you see the sun. This is about the archetype of the child. And so this is the archetype of the child. And then this death card can represent many forms, but it is kind of the shadow aspect. So when we see it as the shadow, right? So the death card is also the shadow and bringing out the shadow. And now I'm just going to give you an everyday goddess to go with this card as well. So I have Frida, the stargazer. So you are here to become a stargazer this year. So in other words, become an observer. Really observe how you show up in the world, how you react, how you respond, how you approach situations. Really pay attention, like really observe your own shadow, your own continual conversations around fear, holding on, your fear of, letting yourself be you, or allowing yourself to be uncomfortable. And some of those uncomfortables is in when you're feeling something shifting or changing, or you're having, obviously, like, when you think you're having a hot flash, but it's not, maybe you're getting a spiritual hit, like maybe spirit is communicating through you or moving through you, and spirit moves us. And when spirit moves us, we get extreme hot, extreme cold, we get goosebumps, we get a feeling in our body, we get the shivers, we get lots of other things, but we also feel it emotionally. And so it can feel like you're just getting like, oh my God, what is that? This is so foreign, because it feels foreign because we haven't made that relationship with spirit. So yeah, I'm beginning my mentorship program coming up. And I know that whenever I'm creating these programs and spirit is moving me to create them, I get that feeling because spirit is moving through me and pushing me and guiding me forward. But I've come into that relationship to spirit to build that sense of, oh, here you are, you're here. Oh God, here we go. This means I got to show up. This means I have to do this. And this means this is going to happen. I don't have to. I can say no, because we always still have free will. But when we start to observe the beauty of allowing spirit to move through us, and what seems to be impossible becomes possible when we allow spirit to guide us through. And so what seems to be impossible this year will become possible. Those things that you thought would never happen or could never unfold, this may be the year that you may be seeing them really, truly just unfold in your life, happen in your life. And just keep remembering, never say never. You never know. You never know what life has for you, but it is going to be a very beginner stage of this. And this is why observing this version of you, this shift, this change that's happening. Like I said, it could be big moves, changes in career, changes in direction, maybe walking away. Some of you that's been maybe working forever may finally just say, I'm done working, I'm retiring, I'm not doing that no more. And not out of rebellion, but just a shift in mindset. And patience this year is going to be a big one for you, and be learning the power of patience and to be patient, to wait things through, and to let go of your all or nothing thinking mentality, that mentality of all or nothing. So it's like you get enthusiastic about something, you jump into action, and then you're all or nothing, and then you fizzle out and you lose you lose, your interest in doing it, or you lose the power. It's because you're trying to push things to happen, and you're trying to get ahead of the game, which sometimes means you're trying to win the race. You're trying to be better or do better than people because you have an old story of probably some envy here. And so it's like, no, slow and steady wins the race, but also just knowing that things happen in divine timing. And if we want things to come to full completion, is you can't lose 30 pounds. And if you got, say, let's just say it's a weight loss journey, you can't lose 30 pounds and live and then think that, oh, I can go back to the old habit. The old habit is what gets you where you are. You can't quit smoking and then, 3 months in decide, oh, I can have one cigarette. No, you got to remember what got you there. And it's like every time that we go back into giving ourselves permission to return to the old habits and the old ways means you're on your way back to the past. And it means you're going back to repeating a habit and a behavior. It is about knowing that that's the death. It's about letting it go and finally being done, that you do not have the power and the strength to be more powerful than the obsessions, the OCDs, the addictive patterns, the behavior, the rebellion. It's like your spirit does, but you have to live from your spirit and let your spirit guide you through. But you can't go back. So you can't get quarter ways, you can't get halfways and think that you've achieved it, because you're not there yet. You can't look at how much further you got to go, that you got a lifetime without those things. You have to stop looking at it as if you are denying yourself something or that you have a lack of, and you have to start to see that you actually have more of everything that is good for you, everything that is healthy for you, and everything that makes you feel alive and vibrant, and it's bringing back vitality and life and happiness and joy. And that is your direction for 2025. I send you so much love, Scorpio. It's always a pleasure. I'm an ascendant Scorpio. I'm hearing this too. I'm hearing this for the first time. When I channel these, I hear it for the first time the minute I hit record. I never know what's coming. And I'm receiving this too. I get it. And so, yeah, I send you so much love. Have a beautiful 2025. And I hope the rest of the videos give you something to contemplate, think about, and to know that there's a lot of repeat language sometimes, but sometimes we need to hear it that many times to really let it sink in. I send you much love. Bye bye.